Hi, I am Shalala. I have looked at Lady Gaga interviews for you before, and some of you asked me to look at her segment in the Me You Can't See. You know that I'm not a psychologist, I'm a creativity coach. I also happen to be a trauma survivor. Inspired by my personal history, I took a deep dive into the topics of art and trauma, artists and trauma, creativity and trauma. I'm happy to share my knowledge with you and my experience, and also my deep love and gratitude for someone who takes a stand. If you're looking for medical advice, this is not the video for you. If you experienced trauma and are triggered easily, this is not the video for you. Please take care of yourself. Having said all that, let's go.
I went through a really crazy time in my head that I still work on. And I'm trying to make sure that I give back with that experience instead of just, I don't know, locking it away and faking it.
When it comes to trauma, locking it away and faking it is really bad advice. The only way out is through. I know it's such a cliche, but it is very, very true.
My mental health, I thought, was a problem when I was very young. I used to cut myself when I was really young. I had my own experiences with abuse, and it's really hard for me to articulate in a way where I feel like it's safe for young people to listen or even older people to listen about why anyone would cut. I do believe that those urges for me came from a place of I need to show the hurt inside.
I can actually hear people say something like, oh, so she was abused as a child, so that's why she became an artist. And then they go into theories of overcompensation and how she needs the love of the whole world, and that's why she's on stage, and so on. There's this myth about so many artists were traumatized that people are now trying to reverse engineer this into, in order to be an artist, you have to be traumatized. And that is not true. The truth is that a ton of people have been traumatized, and a percentage of them happen to be artists. Now, I do believe that there are correlations between trauma and art, but they are different than this happened to me, so I became an artist. It is actually this happened to me, and I happen to be an artist. And quite often people are so traumatized that they are not able to be the artist they truly are, because they have been like silenced, they have made feel ashamed for their urge to show things that they are good at. So if anything, then trauma is something that trauma takes away so much from your life. And sometimes that thing that it takes is your success as an artist, or your experience of being an artist, because you're so traumatized that you actually don't dare to claim that stage, to claim your spot in the spotlight, you know? This is gonna be tough.
I was 19 years old and I was working in the business, and a producer said to me, "Take your clothes off." And I said no. And I left. And they told me they were going to burn all my music.
Yeah. A producer said to me, take your clothes off. And I would like to point out the power imbalance. So producer, 19-year-old Stephanie, trying to make it into the business, trying to enter that business. And he had power over her and threatening her to burn her music. I can only imagine that that felt like he was threatening her life. And power is actually a really important topic when we're talking about sexual abuse, because rape, every form of sexual violence, sexual abuse, it has nothing to do with sex. It's all about power.
And they didn't stop. They didn't stop asking me, and then I just froze and I don't even remember. And I will not say his name. I understand this Me Too movement. I understand that some people feel really comfortable with this, and I do not. I do not ever want to face that person again.
Yep. I understand that extremely well. I'm lucky in the sense that my abuser is dead, has been dead for a long time. So I do not have to face this decision. And I'm really thankful for that. It's like, yeah, I'm thankful for that. So do not pressure anybody into telling you more than they want to tell. I think it's so brave that she's here and that she's talking about this.
This system is so abusive. It's so dangerous. Years later, I went to the hospital.
Yeah. And it's not just the music business, that the system that is so abusive. I think what we heard about the Weinstein case, the way people were talking about this was, oh, come on, everybody does it. This is the way things work around here, and unfortunately, this is, or hopefully was, the way things work. It makes me really happy that we are finally talking about this. It's really about time, and the conversation is far from done. And I'm so grateful for everyone who stops running and makes the decision to heal. And this is especially important if you have children. If you have children, if you're a mom or a dad, you do not want to pass on your bullshit onto your children. This is a topic I'm like deeply involved right now because my friend Vicky, she has an event coming up called The Healed Parent, and I'm a speaker there on creativity and trauma. And I really believe that this is the most important thing you can do for your children to heal. Like making sure that you're not blinded by your own trauma. And I'll put the information into the description box for you.
They brought a psychiatrist in. I said, bring me a real doctor. I said, why is there a psych here? I can't feel my body.
I can't feel my body. Dissociation is actually one of those really creative ways that your brain comes up with when dealing with trauma. Think about this state of separating your mind from your body, that is actually something considered the highest goal in some religions, like the highest goal of meditation. There are monks, Tibetan monks, that they live in a cave. They are walled in with only like a small hole for food, and their ultimate goal is this separation of mind and body. And a child that's being raped does that in a split second, in an instant, out of reflex, out of self-preservation. And it really shows what your mind is capable of. And unfortunately, as seen with Gaga, dissociation is really harmful. When your whole life is an out-of-body experience, that is actually extremely painful, and you can tell by me getting emotional that it is personal for me as well.
It was the same pain that I felt when the person who raped me dropped me off pregnant on a corner, my parents' house, because I was vomiting and sick, because I'd been being abused. I was locked away in a studio for months.
I was locked away in that studio for months. In German we actually talk about Traumafolgestörung, which means a disorder that follows trauma. And I like that idea so much better than labeling someone as sick, because she's not sick. I'm not sick. Shit was done to me, and now I get to deal with the consequences. And some of these consequences force me to be pretty creative. And this is actually like a little bit of good news, because I do believe that creativity gives you the upper hand when it comes to trauma. If you are a highly creative person like she is, your chances of dealing with trauma and to heal from it are a lot higher than when you're not used to creativity. This is what I see and experience for myself and in others. And I do know a lot of traumatized people.
I want to be able to tell everybody that's watching that I dry my tears.
Okay, before we dry our tears, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, somehow it became part of our pop culture because it's so omnipresent. We think we know what it looks like because Hollywood shows us. It's flashbacks and people who throw themselves on the floor when there's a loud noise. And PTSD is much more than that. And complex PTSD is on another level entirely. So what she's describing, like the memory that her body made and is actually holding on to, unfortunately, that is very, very common.
Now, and I move on. You see, I open my eyes. I was taught to do this. You roll your shoulders back. You open your eyes. It helps you regulate. I know where I am. I'm in the basement of my office. And you can come back from things like that.
Yes, you can. For some of us who experienced abuse in their childhood, like very early, and actually don't have a pre-trauma personality, it's a little bit harder, much harder, because you don't really have something to go back to. But in that case, you get to invent yourself, which is actually a pretty cool opportunity if you think about it.
The way that I feel when I feel pain is how I felt after I was raped. I couldn't feel anything. I disassociated. It's like your brain goes offline.
As I said before, it's a self-preservation mechanism that your brain goes to. Extremely helpful when you are in a situation where you can't escape, and in that sense it's part of the play dead. It's a freeze reaction, dissociation, because you can't fight, you can't flight. All you can do is play dead, and your mind just says, okay, this is too much, let's leave. And it's extremely helpful because we're talking about a ton of pain. But you need to figure out a way to teach your mind that you are safe now. And what she showed us, this grounding exercise of doing this and opening your eyes. Opening your eyes is extremely important, and to look around you, to give your brain the information where you actually are. You are not in that studio. You are in a safe place, and grounding exercises are very, very helpful.
And you don't know why no one else is panicking, but you are in an ultra state of paranoia.
Yeah, this is ultimately, this is the definition of living with PTSD. You're in this constant state of panic, and it takes its toll. Because when you find yourself in a dangerous situation, your body reacts by producing chemicals that will raise your chance of survival. Your perception of pain is lessened. Your mind actually narrows down and focuses on one thing, which is fight or flight. Your muscles, they get that extra kick so that you can run faster. And this is meant as a temporary thing to give you an edge to survive. This is not meant as a permanent state of being. And that's why meditation and mindfulness and relaxation techniques are so important for trauma survivors. They lower the chemicals that your brain is hyperproducing.
It's a really very real thing to feel like there's a black cloud that is following you wherever you go, telling you that you're worthless and should die. And I used to scream and throw myself against the wall.
Yeah, this is another example actually of creativity. There's storytelling. Lots of storytelling, like I'm worthless, it's my fault, I'm different from other human beings, I deserve this. Those are stories that your brain comes up with to justify what was done to you. Why does the brain look for justification? Because it is better to be in control, even when it means you're the guilty party, than feeling helpless and as a victim. It really took me forever to realize that. I take guilt over being helpless and being a victim anytime. And guilt in that distorted equation equals power, which of course is an illusion. So, the good news on that part is your story is not over. You can use your creativity and your intelligence and your everything. You can use it because as long as you live, you are in charge of your story. You can change it. And that doesn't mean lying. I'm talking about a plot twist, turning things around. Heal. You can own your story like Gaga does. She owns it, and owning it does not mean I'm going to share all the details with the whole world. It doesn't. Owning it means, first and foremost, in my opinion, to not give up. To not be defined by something that happened to you. It's to say, I'm going to marry the night, and dance with my pain, and fly with broken arms. And although I experience the world as a hostile force, I opt for kindness. That is owning your story.
The process of healing in my mental health has been a slow rise. And even if I have 6 brilliant months, all it takes is getting triggered once to feel bad. And when I say feel bad, I mean want to cut, think about dying, wondering if I'm ever going to do it.
I just watched Monica Lewinsky's TED Talk on shame. You should watch it. It's brilliant. And she says you can insist on a different ending to your story. And you can insist on your story not ending in suicide. You can insist on that.
I learned all the ways to pull myself out of it. It all started to slowly change. It took 2.5 years. Everybody that's at home right now that's suffering, I would like first to say that it is so important that you surround yourself with at least one person that validates you. And when I say validates you, that means somebody that believes you, that cares about you and tells you that your pain matters and that it's real. Then I would say there is a way to regulate yourself. Hi.
Yeah.
How are you?
Hi, how are you?
How are you feeling? If I focus and I go, okay, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna do some therapy or grounding or gratitude, and I'm gonna move my body and I'm gonna eat and I'm gonna do the things I know are healthy for me. I'm gonna play piano, I'm gonna sing a little bit, I'm gonna brush my teeth, I'm gonna make sure that I take a shower, mindfully, everything. If I do enough of these skills in a row, if I just keep going and I go, Stephanie, be brave. You gotta be braver. It's brave to breathe, it's braver to keep going. And then I go, and before I know it, I'm standing in my backyard and I go, okay, I'm back.
All these things that she just mentioned, like getting up, doing therapy, do some grounding, some gratitude, eat, you can turn everything in your life into something that pushes your healing forward if you do it mindfulness, as she just put it.
Everybody thinks it's got to be a straight line, that it's like just like, you know, every other virus, that you get sick and then you get cured. You know, it's not like that. It's just not like that. And actually, I think that traps people. It traps people because they get so frustrated. I did. You get frustrated with yourself. Why am I not getting better? What's wrong with me? And you know what? There's nothing wrong with you, but there is something that's not firing right. And that's something you got to pay attention to.
And we're done here. It feels wrong to say I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got value out of it. I really do. If you did, leave a comment. And know that I love you. And thank you for watching. Bye.